Alrighty, Roo.
Is that how you want to start the podcast?
Alrighty, Roo.
Alrighty, Roo.
Perfect.
Broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, I'm broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, I'm broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, I'm broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, broke as shit, I'm broke as shit.
Okay, so Tristan, you wanted to talk about conspiracy theories today.
Yes.
Of course
I
he
have a
did.
few.
Okay.
I have a few that I would like to share with
Should
you
we
guys.
take turns?
All right, let's
Should
hear
we
'em.
have him
Are these
shotgun them?
first? I have a question. Are these like common conspiracy? Like, are you gonna just hit the nail right on the head and just give us like a big giant, just Bush did 9/11 conspiracy, or are these like some smaller time,
Maybe.
like?
I've got some smaller time ones. Tristan has assured me that his are solid, but I think I guessed one of them before we started, and I think it's
God.
one of the most obvious ones. So,
Is it Bush did 9/11?
Tristan, why don't you just take the floor?
I'm not
You're
gonna deny or.
I'll take
Yeah.
your silence as a yes. Anyway, go ahead.
Maybe it is. So the one I wanted to share the most. This is the one I find the most interesting.
Okay.
You guys may know about it. It's the one about the Denver airport.
Yes.
Heard these conspiracies?
Yes.
Since I'm ignorant and maybe some people listening don't know, why don't you tell us?
So there's multiple conspiracies surrounding the Denver airport, but the one I find the most interesting was that it was built by the New World
100%.
Order.
And it is.
So I'm going to read you something from this article here. There are many theories about who built the Denver airport. One of the most persistent theories is that the airport was built by the New World Order with ties to Nazism. Is that not Nazism? Is that
Yeah,
how you say it?
Nazism.
Not.
That's
yeah.
how you do it.
All right. I'm not a Nazi, obviously. Otherwise, I'd be able to pronounce
Yeah.
that. The
Yeah.
theory even goes so far as to say that the airport's runways are built to resemble a swastika from above.
Right.
However, looking at photographs of their configuration, the runways don't seem to resemble that shape in particular, unless you're really looking for
Right.
it. It doesn't help that the airport's dedication marker credits an organization called the New World Airport
Yup.
Commission. I'm going to say that again. The New World Airport
Yep.
Commission for building it. This may seem like a coincidence. I like this is the writer that's like trying not to freak you out. He's like, this may seem like a coincidence.
My favorite part was when he said, it doesn't really look like a swastika, like unless you're looking for it.
Unless you're
kind of.
really looking for it.
Unless you really want to believe there's a swastika, it really
Unless
could
you're
be anything.
unless you're really looking for the runway that totally obviously looks like a swastika.
If you're looking and you're thinking, are these runways shaped like a swastika? You'll probably see it. But like if you're looking, it's just runways, you know?
They're all probably shaped like swastikas.
I think all of them are.
At least, yeah, probably.
So hang on, I gotta see this.
No,
Because I'm looking up a picture right now because I've never seen an aerial view of the Denver airport.
Here, let me finish this. So, this may seem like a coincidence, but it was discovered that such an organization doesn't actually exist, according to the airport's website itself. So the airport itself
is like, we have no
said
idea
that the New World Airport Commission doesn't exist. People have also noted strange markings on buildings, which are believed to be connected with the New World Order as well.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, many mysterious building markings are actually references to the Navajo language or periodic table of elements, according to Mental Floss. Still, it seems a little suspicious. I 100% agree.
I think, here's the deal.
So
there are paintings in the airport of devils jumping out of suitcases. No, I've never flown, but I've seen them online, and that's good enough for me because I've heard that if you see something online, that is just true.
It's huge too. Like the airport is massive.
Well, yeah. So here's a little bit of the details on this conspiracy, because I personally love conspiracy theories. The airport itself, when it was being built, upon finishing, it was found that it went $2 billion over budget. You don't casually go $2 billion over budget. Okay, and so people were like, "Hey, that doesn't." It is if I'm correct, it's bigger than all the other major airports, like New York, right?
Yes.
It's
massive.
actually massive, but people believe that with that 2 billion, there's like underground passageways, things like that, or like a bunker system. Nobody can prove that. It's just the other things. It's it's saying that it was built by the New World Airport Association or whatever. There is the fact that on like different walls there are like paintings of children standing next to burning buildings, of devils jumping out of
God.
people's suitcases. Like there's just
It's
really
supposed to.
creepy,
It's a right.
which is
It's
So we're-
supposed to specify. Apparently, it's supposed to specify the end of the world. That's what those paintings
well, because
are.
then
supposed
So
to-
where are the paintings from?
they're just they were commissioned by the airport. Like upon starting, you know how like at we're from St. Louis,
Okay.
the Lambert Airport has like murals and stuff. It's like
Sure,
that.
Sure.
And so
yeah.
here's the other
They-
kicker about it, like being a signal for the end of the world and being built by the New World Order. There is a giant painting of a horse or a horseback rider. Is it a horse? I think it's just a horse. Of this giant
It's the
brown
horse,
or
because
black
there's-
horse. It's like a dark metal horse that apparently,
Yeah.
when being sculpted, fell and killed the person making it, and it's still standing.
Yeah, yeah.
So then they're just like,
Yep.
it is so shrouded in mystery. I personally, I've read about this one. I 100% am like something shady's going on, but not because of the murals and stuff. I get like kind of playing into something or like being a
Right.
little fun and supernatural kind of thing. But $2 billion over budget.
That's the same horse that there's a statue of it outside the airport. Like when you enter the airport,
Yeah.
there's a
It's like-
giant.
It's like what? Because like you said about the Lampert Airport, like we have murals of like mostly like what Bush Stadium and the Arch or something. I mean,
Yeah,
what's the horse? Like, why is that? What does that
People
mean?
say it's the horse
Here,
of
right
the
here.
apocalypse.
yeah. The giant blue horse
And
sculpture
why
is a nod
Denver?
to the four
Why-
horsemen of the apocalypse.
Why Denver?
The Blue Mustang, also known as Blucifer, is a 32-foot fiberglass sculpture.
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
That's
Yeah, I
clever.
was gonna say that's why he
That's
died.
clever.
The painting killed him because it named him so shitty.
Yeah.
I will call you
He
Lucifer.
put a curse on it. He
Lucifer.
he put a curse on it by saying the word Lucifer.
I like Lucifer. All right, what?
Damn.
That's great. So okay, so I looked up a picture of the Denver airport, and I can definitely see the swastika, but I also like
You must have been really looking for it.
I
You
was
must have been
really
looking for it.
looking for it. Okay, but I'm not gonna lie. When I looked at a picture without, because like okay, so the picture I'm looking at just has like a shitty MS Paint sketch of like a swastika to kind of outline where the pattern is. Without looking at that, I don't see it. Like I really have to like try to see a swastika. And I mean, I don't know. I just see different roads.
You have to want to
that
see
are
a
like all going in
swastika.
different. You have to really want to see
Yeah,
it.
that's what people say when they're like,
No one's
"That's
just...
a neo-Nazi argument." I mean,
You have to really see.
are we really
Like, if
problem
you
right now?
want-
Or is it? I think it's you guys. I think the problem is you guys blowing this out of
If
proportion.
you really want to see a problem with a 666 tattoo on their forehead, that's your
yeah,
problem.
if
you
you
know?
really,
That-
you have to really look for it. I mean, come on. At this point, you're putting in. You
I-
want to be upset.
I'm honestly more taken aback by the paintings
Yeah.
and more so like
The horse.
the budget. The budget kind of blows my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
How do you go that far over
Right.
budget? Because like most production, if you're building something and you realize you're going to go over budget, you stop production,
$2
right? How do you just keep going?
$1 billion.
It's because you build it. It's because you build it for the Illuminati. That's why you go $2 billion over budget.
$1 billion.
So what if it's actually not over budget and it just got like side funding?
Well,
from
that-
these,
that
like,
had to
rich
happen,
Illuminati.
because they have.
Is that what the conspiracy?
Well, it's not a
is?
conspiracy. I mean, you are provided a certain amount of money from the government to make the airport, right? They were $2
Right.
billion over the money that was publicly announced and allotted to them.
So they're saying that
It had
that,
to come from somewhere.
that money came from just like like anonymous supporters.
Well, like when
or
a
whatever.
government project goes over budget, it's probably just taken from taxes and things like that. But $2 billion. Denver,
Yeah.
Colorado, $2 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Yeah, that's
wasn't
crazy.
it $1 billion that Colorado made in the first year that they had legalized marijuana? I think it was $1 billion
Yeah.
in taxes.
Yeah.
That's
Times that.
yeah, two of their biggest breakout years way prior to this.
And what year? What year was this made? The airport?
I don't know.
The 90s, I
Yeah.
think.
Furthermore, all of the taxes for that year, $2 billion in taxes. Not like a little percentage,
Yeah.
$2 billion.
1995
saying-
is when the Denver airport was opened.
So you're saying that you think that they got all of the excess money from tax money?
I'm saying that's what other like government associations do. You just allot more money to the budget.
Because I feel like if they would have taken 2 billion, even if it was gradual,
I'm saying
I
I'm not
feel
saying
like,
that that's what they did here. I'm saying that's what they do in other situations, and that's why I don't believe that they
gotcha.
did it here because $2
I gotcha.
billion, just like you were saying, $1 billion. There's
Yeah.
no way. There's no way that people were just like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, there's no way that anyone could turn a blind eye to that because it's pissing off someone. Like someone is noticing that there's
Yep.
money just drastically disappearing.
Well, it says other conspiracy theorists point to Illuminati money, which some believe was used to finish the construction in exchange
Here's
for the
a- here's
secret
a-
society using the property.
Here's a big one. Do you guys believe in the Illuminati?
Yes.
Ooh.
I do.
I don't know if I do. Honestly, you would think that I do if you know me personally. But I believe in something like the Illuminati. I don't think that it has. I feel like anything that the mainstream public can find out and can know and can have a name
Yeah.
for is probably fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like if there is an Illuminati, they're not called the Illuminati, and they don't work like
no,
the
and I'd
Illuminati.
have to agree with that.
You know?
I'd say I believe in something like that though, for sure.
I will say though, this kind of goes with your point. I used to work with a guy who we had a very interesting conversation because his girlfriend was a very strong devout Mormon and he was
I
not.
like me some
And
devout Mormons. We like them. We like devout Mormons at Three Broke Dudes podcast. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Let's give a round of applause for devout Mormon girlfriends. Let's give a round of applause for devout Mormon girlfriends. Tristan, help me out here.
all
I'm
three
not
of them.
clapping.
All three of them. You can have three devout Mormon girlfriends.
That's our new podcast name. Three devout Mormon
You
girlfriends.
you guys
But
seen
it's-
you guys seen the meme of it's the Mormon temple in Utah, and they have a statue of Joseph Smith, like the founder of Mormonism.
Oh yeah.
But it's a statue of him and his wife, but the guy photoshopped it of like 100 other women, 100 statues of women's to specify all
That
of his
is
wives.
so good. I like that a lot. Elijah, you were saying about Mormon girlfriends?
Is it kind of
Can't get enough of them, am I right, fellas?
Heyo. No, I was just saying it kind of goes in the same of like a lot of their belief kind of because isn't the Illuminati, isn't that a Mormon belief? The whole the all-seeing eye
Yeah,
and
the pyramid with the eye in
the
it.
the pyramid and everything, isn't that Mormon?
No,
It is or no?
No, it's
not
not.
at all.
I thought it
Nope.
was. So what is that?
Illuminati.
Mormon.
Oh, that's
Illuminati.
Freemasons.
That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Freemasons. That's what. Okay, yeah. So forget the whole Mormon
Hang
story.
on.
I want to talk about
She's
those.
not.
What about the
Hang on, I want to
Freemasons?
clarify. Was his girlfriend a devout Mormon?
No. Yeah, she was a Mormon.
So you
No,
just
not
completely
Freemason.
She's not a
called all
Freemason.
Mormons Freemasons.
Well,
Yes.
They don't like that, Elijah.
I'm not
Alright,
gonna say
that's
they're
at
the
least-
same, but I
Alright, we
will
pissed
say
off a
that
church.
they both scare me just as much. How about that?
I hope the Church of Latter-day Saints doesn't listen to this.
Shows up at our house.
They're not gonna like that.
I think, I think churches in general that have been around for hundreds of years have to have some scary ghosts living in them. You know, there's got to be some kind of secrets built in those like cathedrals that are like 400 years old.
Now I want to watch the Mormon South Park.
I'm gonna gear us back
That's a great-
onto the rails real quick. Tristan, what's the next? All right, real quick before we wrap the Denver airport part up. Who here thinks that it is at least a secret association?
I
think-
100% think so.
I think there's got to be at least some kind of affiliation.
You
with-
heard it here, folks.
kind of-
It's no longer conspiracy. It's fact. We broke dudes.
It's the unmarked buildings that they just buried that's what blows it for me.
So I grew up in a small country town, and in that town there used to be some buildings that would have been, they were foreclosed and abandoned for years, but they also had some old writings and signs and stuff on them from hundreds of years ago because they've been out of commission for so
Right.
long. And on one of them, I don't know if this was deliberately put on there as just like some kids fucking around, but I remember there was one that I used to pass by on my way home from work, and if you looked in the very top window, it had one of those big like ornate like half circle windows at the
Right.
top. If you looked in it, there was a Jesus statue, and it was flipped upside down on the
Hell
very top of
yeah.
the building.
That's
Yes.
Satan.
And I don't know if that just happened like it was right side up and it just got old and fell down,
Nah, that's
or
Satan.
if somebody did that. But it always creeped me out, and I just don't trust old shit. I don't trust old things, old
Well, that
buildings.
explains
I don't like 'em.
why Elijah is
I
a
clarif-
liberal. Just don't trust old shit. Tristan, what else you got for us?
So another one that I thought was very dumb.
Not at all
was-
real.
So why are you
that-
talking about it?
Huh?
So then why are you talking about it?
Well, it's dumb, and I just want to make fun
Okay,
of this
let's
one.
let's make fun of
I'm
it.
just messing with you. Go ahead.
It's the CIA and AIDS conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So-
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish that, but you just reminded me of a point that I really want to make when you're done with this. I just need you to remind me.
Basically, it's that the CIA
Mhm.
created AIDS as a bioweapon to wipe out homosexuals and African
I
Americans.
can prove it right now to you. I can prove it right now.
That's what the
You ready for
conspiracy.
this? Prove it right now to you.
Yeah.
CIA backwards AIC. Remove the C or turn it around. Put a line through it. That's a D. Add an S. AIDS. Boom.
That's very interesting,
Yep.
Joe, because that's actually what this article
You're
says.
kidding.
That's what a conspiracy theorist spoke. Yeah,
Joe wrote
that's
the
what a
article.
conspiracy theorist points
You're
to.
kidding.
I'm not kidding.
You know what's crazy to me is these conspiracy theorists. Literally, some of them have doctorates.
And I just did that.
Some of them are like super intelligent, and they believe shit like that wholeheartedly. And
Yeah.
that will be their argument. That will be their their die on a hill argument is that CIA kind of looks like AIDS if you turn it around.
Now, my favorite point in this
I'm a
argument
genius.
is that African American men who have sex with men are stubbornly resistant to go to interventions. Just African men, not anybody
Wait.
else who has.
I am so
just
confused
African
because it's
men
got
don't.
racial. What website are you on?
Hey, Joe's paying attention now.
It's
Wait,
it's
so
a
what-
bunch of letters.
So what do you mean by just the African? Is it African or African American men that they say?
African American men.
So just the African American
African men
men
are
who are
fine.
homosexual or have homosexual relations or whatever, that they refuse to go to.
Interventions or therapy or any sort of treatment for the AIDS. Just the African American men.
So they're saying that the white men that get AIDS do go to interventions?
Yes.
How do you even gauge something like
Statistics.
I don't know. Yeah,
that?
stats.
Statistics, isn't it confidential if you go to
Probably.
if
I
you
mean,
go
it's
to interventions like that? Isn't
Elijah.
that
2 seconds
confidential?
ago, I just bullshitted their entire argument, and this is where you're like, I don't get it. This
Yeah, that's where I'm hung up on the facts.
that's where you're hung up
Yeah.
on the.
That's where I'm.
Where do they get this data?
The logistics don't make
What
sense
was
to
this
me at
point
that
that you
point.
had,
The whole
Elijah?
CIA and the AIDS flipped around thing, that I could see that, but now we're talking about the statistics and
Here, let me just
confidential
read this.
information, and now
Go
I'm
for
lost.
So, the social context of the early HIV/AIDS epidemic in the United States provided fertile
Hell yeah.
ground-
We like a good fertility.
ground for rumors about transmission. Today, however, rumors about HIV and AIDS persist only within the African American public. Focus group and public discourse data reveal the contact and distribution of HIV/AIDS origin and conspiracy rumors.
I don't like that we're talking about this.
Yeah, should we not talk about this?
I mean, it's late now.
Rumor and contemporary legend theory allows
You just keep going.
reinterpretation of rumors as a measure of trust between the African American public and health
You are on a
professionals.
racist website.
Not as evidence of ignorance or of historical racial oppression. To
So-
improve public health results in the African American community, HIV/AIDS efforts must acknowledge the sources and meanings of rumors, include rumors as a measure of trust, and address the underlying distrust that the rumors signify. What?
So
It's well written.
so that entire article, let me just see if I'm on the right path here. That entire article is saying that the CIA created
Mhm.
AIDS because black people don't try to fix themselves from being gay.
and just a
Yes.
general hate of homosexuals. Yes.
Yeah, because that's
Wow.
what.
So how do you
That's
feel,
the
Elijah,
conspiracy.
as a gay black man?
I feel personally
I would
attacked.
assume.
That's fucked up. That's probably the most fucked up, like, yet professional sounding article I've heard.
It's a very professional website. It's .gov. That's the.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
then wait a
address
minute. Then
link.
never mind. It may be
Oh, wow.
like legitimate statistics.
It's the American Journal of Public Health.
Oh, wow.
Why did you
Yeah.
say that you didn't recognize the website before we shit on it and called it racist? This may be legitimate statistics, and we may be the ones that are misinterpreting.
No, I said it's a bunch of letters. It's ncbi.nlm.nih.gov.
Okay, let's move on because I don't like talking about this. Elijah, you had a point you wanted to make that.
My point is not as heavy as that. I was just gonna say that the CIA. A lot of people think the CIA is like this, obviously like the top secret spies or whatever,
100%.
and they're doing all this like international relations and killing people and like assassinating like drug lords and shit. And I found out a month or so ago that you can apply to join the CIA on their website. You can just send in a job application, and I never knew that. I was on the CIA website one night, and
Why?
you can just I wanted to see what's up, dude. On the very front page, they have a little like cartoon animated figure of like a girl with like a magnifying glass and a fedora and a trench
Were you
coat,
high?
and it's like apply to the
Were
CIA.
you legally high?
No, I was. That doesn't mean I
Were you
was
illegally high?
not. That doesn't mean that I was not illegally high either. I was stone cold sober,
just
looking up the CIA.
Looking for girls in fedoras. All right, that's
Well,
all right.
I mean, I didn't know that you could just.
Hannah, you're hearing
apply
this,
to do
right?
that kind of
Girls in fedoras, you're hearing this? All right.
Because like, I know it's always like in movies, the CIA
Yeah,
is always
no,
like
I feel you.
this shady guy, and he comes up to you when you're in like a down and out position in life, and he gives you this job offer you can't refuse, and all of a sudden your life is gone.
Tristan,
But in reality, you just
Yeah.
you submit a resume on their
we're gonna
website.
need you to apply for a position of the CIA this week and get back to us next week. Okay.
I'll see.
I
Do you
want
have-
to.
I'll see what I can
literally
do.
want to. I want to apply. I
Let's
would be
all
embarrassed
apply and see if we
that
can get an interview.
I'm more embarrassed of my resume. I feel like it's not good enough to send it into the CIA.
Excuse me, sir. You worked at Nike. It's great enough.
Yeah.
Tristan, do you have one more, and then I would like to share a couple?
Oswald didn't kill Kennedy.
Well, that's just a fact. We don't even need to debate that. Like, that's legitimately a scientist came out recently and was like, but he did, and then millions of people were like, but he didn't. Oswald could have, but he was not alone. That's a guarantee. There's no way that dude did it
Yeah,
alone.
No, he certainly was not alone.
I'm very confident that he did not do it by
100%.
himself.
That's another one that involves the CIA.
Yeah, the CIA is
That's
shady
true.
shit. That's why they want you to.
The CIA was involved, or the conspiracy of the CIA being involved
All in-
with killing Martin Luther King
100%.
Jr.
Also,
Yeah,
also
that one too,
100%.
yep.
I believe that one too.
Can we all agree that both of those killings were definitely the girl in the fedora? We can agree.
Possibly, or
Who's
at least
the girl in the fedora?
The one
Yeah, I don't think back then it would have been a
The
girl.
girl in
I
the
think that would've
fedora
been too-
on the front page of the CIA website, guys.
I think
in the cartoon?
I think the CIA having a
making
female
a
logo
joke.
would have been too progressive for the time.
Yeah, we're
It would've
talking
been
about
like
the
a-
60s
Oh
here.
yeah.
It would have been like a white man in a pinstripe suit.
White men would have been irate if there was a woman.
Listen
as
here.
a-
They wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have worked for the CIA. They would have
No.
quit.
I've got a couple of stories that I want to throw your way, and then Elijah has a real life conspiracy that he is currently undergoing. Okay. First,
Yeah,
I want
do.
to ask you guys if you've been to a mattress firm lately.
No.
When was the last time you
within the last year.
have been within the last year? Did you
Yeah.
purchase a mattress?
Yes.
When is the next time you will purchase a mattress?
Ooh. Honestly, I don't even know.
Thank you.
Probably years from now. I mean, once you buy one mattress, they're good for like what? 10 years?
Exactly. Thank you so much for pointing that out. In 2018, Elijah, a Reddit user, also thought the same thing. When he Googled mattress firms, he noticed that in certain cities, like Chicago, for instance, there are multiple
Mhm.
mattress firms within 0.5 miles of each other. Literally like 20 within 0.5 miles each of the other person. In some cases, even just across the street.
That's literally Walgreens and Wentzville Parkway.
Yeah,
There's 3 right around the
but-
corner
that's
from
like the
each other.
Walgreens and CVS
But
battle.
those make
Yeah.
sense, right? Because people are you're gonna need to
I mean,
go
not
and
really.
get, but you're gonna need to go and get medicine. You need to go and get food. They at least have business. Having like
Sure, yeah.
literally 20 mattress firms within 5 miles, like all within 5
I
miles,
mean,
is ridiculous.
So is
Sounds
that
like a
just saying
South
that?
Park episode.
People believe
It
that
does.
mattress firm is a giant money laundering scheme, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
I've been
mattresses
watching-
are an investment, but that's
I-
pretty intriguing.
I also have been watching a lot of Ozark.
Thank you. On to the next one. Okay.
Wait, so that's from Ozark?
No, that's just
the whole money laundering scheme is from
Yeah.
Ozark, but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean I wouldn't doubt it because I mean
I don't watch
why?
that show.
Well, you should. It's a
It's a great
fantastic
show.
show.
Well, I'm not going to now.
Jason Bateman, lead
Well,
lead
he's
actor,
a good actor. He's a
and
good actor.
and he's lead director. He directs
Oh.
If
and
he's not
acts.
gonna watch it, Elijah,
Oh.
we have to talk about Ozark every week just to make him feel alienated.
He can do it all.
I will. He literally can do it all.
Can I, when you do that, can I make up my own topics about my own episodes about Ozark? What goes on Ozark?
I think we should have you watch
Are-
one episode a week.
Every week?
And it's just a really late
Yeah.
commentary on Ozark. Like you're just really
Just
late.
We'll just start up a secondary podcast channel,
About
and
Ozark?
it's just us talking about Ozark. Yeah.
We should do that with Breaking Bad or like a very outdated show, like The Wire.
The Wire. That would be
The Wire.
hilarious.
That's fantastic.
Just-
That is a great show. Speaking of shows, the great shows from our past, I was watching an episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter last
That's
night.
just a great
Ah,
show in general.
I love that
One of the
show.
best shows.
And so the part that I want to talk about specifically that really cracked me up is they were trying to apprehend this woman who was related to like one of the biggest drug dealers in this neighborhood.
Yep.
And they caught her on her way to her car, and their plan was to snatch her up before she got into the car. But they didn't get to her in time, and she sat down in the car and closed her door. And the skinny dude, I forget his name, I forget his name, but he ran up and he went to kick her windshield in, and he like hopped up and just planted the heel of his boot right into her side windshield, or her driver's side window, and just bounced off of it. He bounced off of it, didn't do any kind of damage, and then Dog the Bounty Hunter just came up and opened her door and pulled her out. And it made me wonder how much of that show do you think is real? Because like I know it's
It
real
needs
people,
to be at least 90%.
but like was it really?
No. But I want to
No.
believe
Like-
it is.
I really want to believe it is. You can't tell me that there's just these like biker gang that goes around catching criminals and they're 100% like capable.
I'll tell you what,
and legitimate.
it's more real. It's more real than Live PD. That
That's
show
fair.
is scripted as hell.
I would believe that. Live PD has provided me with some of the most hilarious content I've seen in probably the last year. Live PD is like
This guy's just sitting in a studio and he's got a direct camera feed to a live police chase on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No, that's real. I think both of you are. You guys are probably also
I
the
think-
people that say WWE isn't real, so I just won't hear you guys.
Well, WWE, it's scripted, but don't get it wrong. They're actually
Are you
fighting.
being serious?
Maybe.
I hang on.
Ooh.
I now am stopping all of the conspiracy theory talk for a moment. I will not bring up another when we come back to it. Elijah,
This-
I'm going to need you to
these-
talk about your thing, but I want to address this first. Tristan DeAngelis,
Yes.
do you actually
TMFD.
fucking believe?
No, I'm going to stop you right there. Of course not.
Thank God.
You can tell it's not real. They don't
I
hit
would-
each other.
Obviously, it's not real, but I would still say I greatly respect those guys as athletes because
Oh, they're still torturing their bodies. They're still
Yeah.
putting their bodies through hell.
they're still acrobats in a
Yeah.
way. You know, they're still street
Sure,
performers
yeah,
in a way.
okay,
You
I
know,
can give you that. I knew a guy once that at the ripe age of 22 fully believed that WWE was real and not scripted.
Does he work for the WWE
Nope.
I
And we are no longer friends. He was.
Was
I want
that
to say.
it?
I want to
Was
preface by
that-
saying
That's
this. He's one of the nicest guys I ever met in my entire life. We worked at Subway together, and then he worked
Man.
at. I think now he has maybe a union job. I don't know what he's up to anymore. Okay. Truth be, like, he would get super mad if we talked about WWE and anybody implied it was fake. He would get heated. Like he would get like, you know how everybody has that one topic that when you talk about
You
it,
just can't
they
touch
get
it.
mean. Like they'll like start
Yeah.
like they immediately insult you. Like,
It was a very personal topic for him.
oh yeah, and that's how it was.
It hits home for him
It
talking
hits
about
home,
the
I don't know
WWE.
why, but it did.
He probably grew up and he was like watching The Rock and
He's
Randy
like, look at all that
Savage.
blood. How do you explain all that blood all over his
That sounds
face?
like you literally sound like him right now. That's
It's because
Yeah, I definitely think that
unzips
they're
mask.
incredible athletes. I just
Well, of course
you
they
know what
are.
you know what just literally I've been living my entire life just thinking that when you wrestle in high school and you become a professional wrestler, you end up going to the WWE. And I just didn't know. I didn't know where they went if they were like an actual good wrestler. I just figured they had to either like join the MMA or some
Right.
shit or the UFC. But no, there's actually a league. There's
Nobody
an
follows
entire
that.
place, but it's called. I love the name. It's called the Real Pro Wrestling Division.
The real.
Like they have to really stress to their fan base that this is it. This is the real
This
stuff.
is the real one. This is the real one.
Well, that's
guys.
because-
this
It's not
is the
fake one.
real.
That's because if
This is the
you
real
turn on WWE,
WWE.
it's a bunch of people in masks throwing chairs, and if you turn on actual wrestling, it looks like porn. It looks like gay porn. It looks like
It does.
men crawling
It-
over each other, putting each other in locks, and going, "Oh, pin me!
I
I
get,
don't want
I
to be
get a little
pinned.
uncomfortable watching real wrestling.
Stop."
There's been a couple of moments just in like when I watch a UFC
Where I got an
fight
erection,
that,
absolutely.
well, that aside, sometimes you just see some things and you're like, oh man, I can't be comfortable.
Watching a real fight. Talk about playing the UFC video game. Boner City.
I'm
You
with you.
telling me?
I'm with you. They should rename it Boner City. Okay, Elijah.
All right. I was talking about I posted on Twitter
I saw that.
a couple days ago. So for the last like probably 3 or 4 months, say, I've been getting like occasional spam texts from like a just like a spam account for sending me some kind of like political party kind of text. It'll be like, oh, I'll get a text. It'll say, hey, this is Michael from your local Missouri government branch or something like that. Something super generalized. And it was like, you only have 24 hours left to vote for President Trump for leading whatever. And just gives me a bunch of gibberish, just a bunch of straight up Hall of Fame checks every box propaganda. And I just ignore it. And occasionally I'll send something funny back. I'll send like a funny sentence or something back just to get a laugh in at nobody's expense since it's a robot. But probably about 2 days ago, I got a text followed by another text followed by another text. I got about 3 or 4 of them in a row, and they were all from different numbers. And at first I thought that it was just like my phone number had ended up on like a mailing list, or maybe it was attached to my email or something. And I had the bright idea to text them stop, because sometimes if you text stop in all caps to a robot automated machine, it'll just automatically
It's
stop
supposed to, right?
texting you. It's supposed to. And I thought I was so smart doing that. And I royally fucked myself.
Who am I echoing through, by the
Royally.
way? I
I
just
don't
started
know.
echoing
I can
through
hear it.
somebody.
Could be Tristan's brand new microphone.
Actually, it sounds like I think it's you, Elijah, if you moved at all.
Me.
Just the mic positioning. I think I'm good now. I think we're
Here,
good.
I
I
can-
think we're good. Go on.
Okay, well, so as soon as I texted stop, within the next 5 minutes, tops, like at most 5 minutes, I received 400 texts back to back,
So it
nonstop.
shut down your phone.
And so I did everything. I took my phone off of the internet. Sometimes I would just like disable my Wi-Fi and I would give my phone time to like catch up, because after I turned off my internet from my phone, it would take a solid probably 30 to 40 seconds just for the text to catch up
Right.
from them spamming me. And I would still receive probably like 70 or 80 more texts while my phone was offline. And then as soon as I would go back online, they were still sending them to me. And so I only had, and I wasn't at home, so I was trying to use my data to download. There's another sponsorship idea. Robot Killer is an app you can download for free, and it
Nice.
sets up a secondary inbox that spam accounts will, or it'll dump all the text from spam accounts. But the problem is that I was getting texted by literally different numbers every time,
Right.
and so it didn't do anything. It did not
Somebody
help me
gave
that
your
much.
number out. That's the only way those happen. Somebody gave your number out.
Yeah. So anyway, that happened for about 4 hours. It was a problem, and in that 4 hours, I probably deleted 1,200 texts. And because of that, I don't know if it's because of that, but it could be. My phone just doesn't work now. My internet won't connect at all. I think it might be my SIM card. Could just
Yeah,
be.
they might have overloaded your SIM card, or your network might have shut it down because they saw unusual traffic.
Could be.
Yeah. Or that app might have also fucked it.
Sounds like you and Joe both need new phones.
Yeah, I need a new phone. On
Sounds
the
like it.
topic of conspiracy theories, by the way, I have the iPhone 6s, right?
Mhm.
I got the battery replaced, completely replaced at Best Buy with a completely new battery. Okay.
Mhm.
My phone now only works with old chargers. And by old
Huh.
chargers, I mean I guess not old, off-brand chargers, the ones that are braided. So
Oh.
normal Apple chargers refuse it, and that battery that is at 100% capacity from a Apple, like certified Apple repairman, still drains its
Just
it
doesn't
just
work.
drains its battery. Do you remember back when I used to work at Nike how my phone would just die in its locker? Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it
Yeah.
replaced, and now it still, it doesn't die in its locker kind of a thing, but it dies so fast, dude. Like, it goes through charge while doing nothing. All apps
Well,
closed.
doesn't that just typically happen to iPhones after they're like 2 years old anyway?
Yeah,
But that's
usually.
the thing.
But he replaced the
And the
battery.
theory was back in the day there was actually, like, I think a lawsuit to Apple on that they were releasing software that would purposely isolate older models and drain their battery. Their updates, the reason that they
Didn't
updated so
I
much,
believe it.
I 100% believe it.
didn't somebody prove
Yeah,
that?
somebody
I
proved it
thought.
online, and then they said there's, no way. I 100% believe it because I literally have a battery that in their fucking settings says it's at 100% capacity, and I can verifiably tell you it's not 100% capacity.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Right.
When I had like a 5S or something like that, I literally could track from the exact day that my phone stopped working, and it was like I think it was like exactly a week after the iPhone 8
Yup.
came out.
Ours was not a day of a release. It was after one of the big updates, and it was one that
Yeah,
boosted performance. And I was like, okay, like it should work. And it forced me to update, and then it did its thing. It
yeah,
killed the battery, and then I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think it might have been the release of the 11 last year.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I totally believe they do that. And why wouldn't they, dude? I mean, iPhones are so literally. I mean, the iPhone 11, dude. I don't. If there was no new phone ever coming out, and if this phone never broke, I wouldn't care. I would never need another
Is it
phone
that
other
good?
than this. Like, the camera's good. I mean, like, the screen is like, there's nothing to
How
complain
much did you
about.
buy
There's
it for?
nothing. I leased it under my service provider, but I think they run at like market prices, like $1,100.
I think you can get just a standard 11 for like $700
Oh
now.
yeah, well, I got the like Max
Yeah.
Pro or whatever,
I think
but
I might have to get
but
it.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need another one. You'll literally, if this phone never stopped working on me, I'd have this until I was like an old man. I would never need another
I
one.
know.
This does everything.
Is it worth it?
But,
Is it really worth it?
But that's what I'm saying. They're not going to let you do that because
Well, it's gonna
I
last the
feel like
longest. What am I gonna do? Buy an older model and have it last a year shorter? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you should invest in one because they're just going to make another one in a year. But I'm saying that's probably why Apple does it
right.
because I mean, when you have something that lasts this long and there's really, unless you drop it or break it, there's no need to ever buy another one.
Right.
They have to make some sort of other alternative reason
Right.
that there's a time limit on them. You know, like you can't just give people a product that they only ever need one
Right.
of because then your company
Well, but the
doesn't
issue is
ever sell
in
more.
other cases, and the reason that it's unethical is with software or with hardware development in general. As hardware progresses, software is supposed to progress, and inherently then performance will decrease for that older hardware on newer software. So I can understand a performance decrease, but I don't have performance
Sure.
decrease on anywhere but my battery. And when my battery
Sure.
is literally supposed to be performing at peak rate and it's not, then your software is purposely using, I'll have no apps open, so I know it's literally the operating system just draining the battery purposely. So it's
That's
bullshit.
why I know that they have to be doing something purposely because it's
Elijah
like
Yeah.
you can open up an old iPod from like 10 years ago and they still work.
Yeah, I have an
Hmm.
iPod Touch that I haven't updated in forever, and that bitch works flawlessly. I use it as
Yeah,
my
the hardware is not.
right. I use it as my like alarm clock. I've used it since I was 16, dude. It's 6 years that thing has completely lasted me, and this thing lasted what? The battery itself lasted a year, and then the new battery lasted
Right.
not at all because it sucks. Elijah, we gotta wrap it up. But do you think I should get an iPhone 11?
All right.
You hear that, Apple? Fuck you.
Unless
You hear that?
I-
Small three of us.
I
Screw
would-
you.
Hey, just him.
hey, I'm asking if I should
Just
get
the
an
guy
11.
with AirPods.
I'm asking if I should
Not
get
for
an
three
11,
broke
okay?
dudes.
If you should get the iPhone
Yeah.
11, I would say yes. I recommend them. They're very nice. I just I also wouldn't act too soon because I say all that about the 11, but I guarantee something's going to go wrong with these as soon as the next one comes out. So it's like
I guess it's just a
it's
conspiracy.
kind of just that kind of fits in with the whole conspiracy.
that works
Kinda
out.
just-
By the way,
Oh, God.
the blatant disrespect that I was receiving from everyone last week after our Disney debate.
Thank you.
I need to get this off my
Okay,
chest.
go for it.
Go
It's
ahead.
rightly placed.
I had
let the clip off.
I had people telling me the Lion King soundtrack
It
was
is.
better. I had people telling me Mary Poppins.
Eh,
Mary
It's
Poppins.
equivalent.
People equivalent. Mary Poppins. Are you for real
Yeah.
right now?
Name
Uh-oh.
one banger from Mary
he went
Poppins.
full New York. Are you for real right now?
Yeah, are you for real right now?
We're
Mary
fucking walking
Poppins.
here.
Yeah.
Also, the movies like Frozen and Coco and Moana, I did not take those into account. I was
Yeah.
talking about the movies that I grew up on.
The classics.
We'll save Frozen and Moana and all those movies for this generation of kids. So
Yeah.
when they grow up and they want to make a podcast, they can debate about those
Yeah.
movies.
I could literally, Tristan.
The same person that told me Mary Poppins was better than the Tarzan soundtrack also said Phil Collins was subpar at best.
All right, that's just
I'm not
that's
going to
false.
name drop that
That's just
person.
false.
I'm not going to name drop that person, but you know exactly.
All right,
who
then
you
let
are.
me say this
Ugh.
to that person. As somebody that agrees that Lion King is better,
Absolutely. not.
you're wrong. I'm sorry. Elton
Absolutely
John
not.
doing one song for a soundtrack is better than Phil Collins doing an entire soundtrack.
Shut
That's
the-
just true.
Shut the
No,
fuck
no,
up.
but hear me out. Hear me out. Let me finish.
Shut the fuck up.
I want to personally say to that person that says Phil Collins is subpar at best, is you're wrong. Not only are you wrong,
Yeah.
you are your opinion on Disney.
idiot. You're an
your,
idiot.
Your opinion
You're
on
an
Disney is
idiot.
a waste of breath. Let me just say it.
Rem-
Just don't even talk about
remember when
Disney,
we were-
man. Like that person is it.
We're still friends, but you're an idiot.
Remember when we were talking about everyone has that one topic that
They'll just
just
die
makes
on?
them mean?
Fucking Phil Collins, man. I love Phil Collins.
It's Tristan about Phil Collins.
Oh, this is
I'm talking about not even just Phil Collins, but his band Genesis. Like all the
Uh,
bangers he made with Genesis.
I think
Yeah.
it's. I think this is.
Yeah,
I
they
think this
did.
is a good place to
Fucking
end it.
Easy
Hey,
Lover.
hey,
Easy
ang-
Lover. That's a great
angry,
song.
angry Tristan. Do you wanna sign us out? Do you wanna say something to people at all?
Yeah, go listen to Genesis.
Yeah, go listen to Genesis.
All right, there's your parting words. See everybody.